who is the deputy medical superintendent for the University Teaching Hospital. You know, we've gone through so many names. One time there were managing directors, there were executive directors, now we've gone back to medical superintendent. That's why being simple in life is so important. Yes. You know, but so we like all these big titles in Zambia. But I hope I've called you correctly. The chairperson of Shonga Still and the executive director and the other members, you may wish to know that your chairman I used to look after him as a little boy in my house, and I used to monitor their reports from school, and they would get a riot. I'll give them a riot act if they didn't do well. And by the time they were landing in Lusaka, they were really in trouble right from the airport. So they all worked very hard because I was very strict with them. So today we are sharing a table. And now he's chairman of one of the most progressive Zambian companies, Shonga Still. Dr. Crispin Moyo, Veronica, Dr. Kavindeli, and sorry I'm calling you Veronica, but excuse me, that you know, being formal is one of my biggest problems. And our great man, Mr. Mwamba, the father to Mrs. Brazo, Frida, and your sister, and just simply all protocols observed. First of all, I want to just assure everybody here that I'm happy to be here. That's why I'm finding it so difficult to be formal, because I'm never formal when I come to UTH. I consider it home. This is where I'm coming back to work. Once I am fired or when my term comes to an end, and I've continued trying to contribute as much as I can in terms of work. When I have time, I come back to teach. So it's home ground for me. When Frida asked me to come and preside here over this donation, I just say to myself, you know, it's actually telepathy. I've just recently come back from New York. And on my third day in New York, the chairman of the Zambian Association of New York brought the overall chairperson of the Zambians living in the US, who also lives in Atlanta. Maybe you know her. And she started asking me a lot of difficult questions. You know, I hear at the University Teaching Hospital, women give birth in the car parks. So I'm working very hard to raise money because I want to do something for UTH. And so the discussion went on, and I said, you know what? It's high time you people that live in the diaspora started thinking about home. Because I've met so many doctors here, most of whom I taught. But they are so happy and comfortable to be here. And they don't think about giving back home. And the discussion was alongside the very discussion we were saying that when you travel to other parts of the world, you see the interest that the people in the diaspora give to their country. But for Zambia, each time you open the watchdog, it is about criticism and criticism and criticism. I wish people could stop criticizing and say, well, let me just take a couple of dollars and take back to Zambia. And then if we fail to utilize that money, then that would be a different story. So we had a long chat that night with this young lady. And I told her, I said, let's keep in touch. And because she was also very geared to come and do something for UTH. And the key word is she. Because in this room we had his. But I'm talking about a she. It actually takes a woman, and I'm saying this from the bottom of my heart, to think about the underprivileged and to think about the poor. Now that you have started, what the men will try and do is to come and take over and try and look as if, you know, because they have more resources than we have. As women, the face of poverty is women. But women always, even if they have very little, they want to share. So I want to start off by commending you, first of all, in your capacity of the company that you have just established, but also as a Zambian and much more as a woman, for leading and being an example of how, first of all, you can think about the underprivileged, you can think about the poor, much more about the sick. And in the sick, the children and the women. I think the Deputy Medical Superintendent and Dr. Mlenga and Dr. Kabindeli and others know the challenges that we face in the maternity wing and the pediatrics wing. And it's just befitting that you chose to give to pediatrics and the maternity wing. This is because when you look at our disease patterns, I think the women and children are mostly affected. And they are the ones that really must come into each and every one of our hearts as a good group to give to. If you come here in the evenings, now it's quiet, but if you come here in the evening and see how the pediatricians are struggling with little babies, and the few beds that they have where they are trying to attend to them are full, and then you see a queue of mothers, not fathers, but mothers, with other babies that they, who are looking really, really ill. It breaks your heart. And if you go to the maternity wing for the mothers who are trying to bring life to the world and build the nations, build Zambia, and you see how they are struggling, again, your heart bleeds. So I would like to encourage you with your colleagues back in the US. This should not be just a one-off event. This is something that we should continue celebrating every time you have a birthday. We at UTH will be expecting a gift. So I'm glad you have denied yourself gifts, but you have given, and God will bless you. And I'm very serious that every time you have your birthday, I'll be calling UTH to say, what have we received? And even over and beyond that, I think we need to start galvanizing ourselves as Zambians. I shared that night with your colleague an example of how the Ghanaians in the diaspora have contributed to the development agenda of Ghana. Instead of sitting the whole night writing articles to contribute to the watchdog, how wonderful we could reserve that ink and that electricity time to put together some resources to send to Zambia. And it doesn't matter where you are in the world. There is no world where government has been able to do everything. That's why there is this word of partnerships. Governments all over, including the United States, they do partner with other people. This is how whatever forum you go to in the United States, and I've just come back from New York, you had Bill Gates. Yeah, Bill Gates is not a minister. He's not, but he has partnered with government and given some of his resources to the government of the US, and also extended his arm to countries like Zambia. I'm aware that we have some of our doctors who trained here, Dr. Shkoe. I know one who is in New Zealand. He even flies himself to the United States. He owns planes. Those are the products we have done. And in fact, incidentally, he was also my student. How wonderful it would be to see him, instead of buying a plane, he gives back to UTH. And UTH would have been a much, much better place if we just put our resources together and get back. But I want to ask you women to provide the leadership and be an example, which we have always been everywhere. Even if you go at the village level, the people that provide leadership are women. However, when we start to speak in all the men, but really the people that make a difference in the world all over are women. The kingmakers are the women. In most countries, when you look at the people that vote, 52% are women. So we are the kingmakers. So we are the people that will make a difference to the world. And I'll be watching as Minister of Gender, because one of the things that I want to do is really to uplift women and celebrate women and make sure that people start appreciating the contribution that women have made from time immemorial. And the reason why this year in celebrating 8th March, I said we have to go and celebrate Mama Betty Kaunda, who has not been celebrated as much as she should be. She was the person who made it happen. And I also thought we should celebrate Mama Julia Tukamaneka, who is not celebrated enough, but she was one of the biggest contributors to the freedom of this country. And she was in the forefront and organized. Even when the men were arrested, she held the party together. And we are who we are today, thanks to those women. And thanks to you as a symbol of those women for coming to contribute to UTH. And I want to emphasize that I'll be waiting every birthday to hear what contribution you have given to this institution, which really needs so much. We need microscopes in the laboratory. I hope next year I'll be receiving microscopes for the laboratory. Or I'll be receiving a centrifuge for the laboratory, or an incubator or something for the laboratory. This is the discipline I come from, so I like to receive as well in that discipline. So Dr. Chikoye, my colleagues, Veronica, Dr. Kavindeli, Dr. Moyo, the representatives of Shonga Steel, thank you very much. But for Mr. Mwamba, you must be very proud of your daughter, because she has scored the first. And usually as parents, we are very, very grateful. And I also like the idea of honoring your mother, because once again, we are remembering the great women that have inspired us, that have made a difference in this country. And we must continue celebrating women. And I also want to point out one thing, is that I say the 8th March should not be a one-off event. So throughout the year until next March, we need to continue celebrating women, so that we keep reminding our colleagues who are our partners in development, the male gender, that we are there, and we will continue to be there. And with that, those few words coming from a politician, thank you very much, and God bless you, and should give you all the messes until we meet again, when we'll be receiving the next donation.